What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be my last STI video because I think we've decided to get rid of it just because of how good the used car market is. So I wanted to give a quick kind of what you may want to consider before buying an STI, go over some pros, cons. I've done similar videos like this before, but this is probably my last week with it because the Forester finally came in, so we're going to do a little bit of a downgrade just for family purposes. It just makes sense right now with how much they're giving us in trade-in. So I'll jump in, go around the car, kind of go through some things to consider before purchasing an STI, especially now in 2021. There's a lot of things to consider. Sorry for the wind out here. It's a really nice day outside, but it is very windy. So let's turn this around and get going. So the first thing to consider before purchasing an STI is going to be first how expensive they are. MSRP is 36 to 42,000 depending on what model you get. I'm not considering the Type RA or anything like that in there. This is just going to be for standard STI. So it is an expensive car to actually purchase. It's not the cheapest vehicle out there. I think I paid around 36,000 for this. You can probably get them a little cheaper if you try. This comes with a few add-ons also, so it came with about, I think, $900 worth of add-ons, just random stuff. That's the first thing to consider. This is not an economic car. It's not a Honda Civic, it's not a Camry, it's not a CRV, it's not anything along that line. So it is expensive, not only to purchase, but also to just drive on a daily basis because it takes premium fuel. So we'll get kind of some of these negatives out of the way, but that's going to be the other big thing is that currently it gets around, I still think I'm getting like 19.6. We'll go turn it on and see what we get. I'm getting a little more on this tank currently because I've been doing a little bit more on the interstate. Let's actually see here. Get it started up. So let's see. See if it'll focus on this. So yep, so see I'm still getting around, looks like 19. Ooh. 19.6 miles per gallon, but on this tank I'm getting a little better, 20.7, mainly because I've been on the interstate about 20% of the time. I've been doing a little bit longer trips, so you're not going to get the best gas mileage when it comes to a 4-cylinder turbocharged vehicle, but it's manageable. If this isn't you're not driving long distances, it's not too bad. Few more things. For one, it's kind of expensive to actually just drive year-round, especially if you're in where you get 4 seasons. So the tires that come on this are performance summer tires. They're worthless at any temperature below, let's see, probably 45, 50 degrees. Excellent in the summer. You get amazing tread and just actual traction with this car. So you will have to invest in at least some winter or all-season tires. I went with a standard winter tire and rim setup because I didn't want to have to take these tires off and on because it's not the best thing in the world to take tires on and off rims. But besides that, it's something you have to look into. The actual maintenance on this is not much different than, say, any Subaru. Most people recommend doing maintenance more frequently, oil changes every 3,000 miles, because these aren't the most reliable motors, mainly because people beat on them to death. But that's it. Those are really the only negatives about the car. It does attract a lot of unwanted attention at times. Not all the time, but you usually get some type of unwanted attention from people like old beat up Hondas or these weird trucks. These weird F-150s that won the race you and things like that. Most other Subarus and even like Honda Civic Type Rs, there's a bunch of those around this area, and some GTIs, Golf Rs. They're pretty cool about things. They don't want to race you, at least in the area I'm in Ohio. Well, okay, one more negative. This is on their old platform, so everything else is on Subaru's global platform, which is a way safer design. Just on the way the actual frame is designed. This is still a very safe vehicle, but it's the only one that hasn't been updated yet, the WRX and the STI. So that's it. Those are the only negatives, kind of the things to look into when you're purchasing this, is that every time you fill up the tank, you're going to, it just bothers me to pay premium fuel, especially in 2021. We have a 1-year-old, we'd like a bigger house. we like saving money, so this is not the most practical vehicle to drive on a daily basis. And currently I'm driving a little bit more because I've been picking our one-year-old up from the actual daycare. So driving this every day, it's not a smart decision for me. Not when the used car market right now, they're giving me $36,000 in trade-in, and I only paid $36,500, $36,200 for it. So I basically drove for free for 6 months, 6,000 miles on it. And it's been a blast. It really has. It's a very fun car to drive. Good in all weather, rain, snow, dry conditions. It's not the best on the interstate just because the RPMs are so high, so it is a little bit loud. But that's really my only negative. Besides that, get the windows down, it sounds nice. The exhaust sounds excellent. Even at stock, I don't plan on modifying this, never did. But the stock exhaust sounds really nice. And it's just a fun car. I think if you could save up, maybe get a different daily driver and just have this as a weekend car, it would be a lot of fun, just because with the windows down, it really is a fun car to drive. So that's the big thing to consider. If you want a car that's fun to drive, you're okay with the added expense with the fuel and the gas mileage, and supposedly people say these aren't very reliable, but if you take care of them and you keep them stock, it's just like any other car. It will probably last as long as you keep up on all the maintenance and stuff. I do check the oil in this all the time, like 3 times a week, I seem like, just because they're known to burn a little bit of oil. It even says it in the owner's manual that you may experience some oil burn throughout the cycle of it, just because it has port injection. It's an older engine, has no oil catch can, so it happens. Next, it actually looks pretty good. I really love the way this thing looks. It's unique. You don't see very many of them, especially the STIs. You see a lot of WRXs that are they're either bone stock or they have crazy modifications and don't look very good, but you do not see very many STIs in our area. There's a couple around, but not very many. So that's nice. I like having something that's a little bit more unique, that kind of stands out. All-wheel drive, all seasons, great there. You got massive brakes. That's going to be my big thing when I downgrade, is that just downgrading to different brakes, because these brakes are way overkill for this car, but it stops crazy. It's very, very good brakes that I'm going to be sad to see go, because I consider that a safety feature, being able to stop. Oh, another safety feature, LED steer responsive headlights. I believe those are stock on all Subaru cars now. Those are very, very nice. The only thing is when they break, I think they're like $1,200 to fix, but haven't heard any issues about them breaking at all. But they're very, very nice, especially if you drive in the dark on some backcountry roads. Interior is a mixed bag. With it not being on the global platform, it does have some rattles, some dings, some just overall noise. But the seats are pretty comfortable. These are manual seats, which is a little crazy for how much expensive it was, but they position well. They're fairly comfortable for short distances. I would not want to drive this on a long road trip. If this was our sole car and we were doing road trips with this, I would not want to sit in these seats for longer than a couple hours. There's just not a lot of cushion. They're not made for that. But they look good. The interior is very simple, basic. You got control knobs for everything, which is really nice. Something that I like, that I don't like in some of the newer vehicles. Everything's all touchscreen, so you have all that. Nothing too fancy with the instrument cluster here. It's pretty basic. Try to start it up again and try to not let the radio blast, but you have pretty basic stuff there. So everything's within reach. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The display is only 7 inches, but it's fairly responsive. It's bright, it's color. So there's pretty nice. You do have dual climate control, which I think is a waste, but you have that. You got buttons for everything, knobs. There's no weird things. If you want to change from the AC to heat, you have to go into the menu system. It's all right here in the actual menu setup. It's a stick shift. That's something I'm also going to miss. There is times where it's a little bit annoying to actually be shifting all the time, but for the most part, it's fun to drive. And I think it's a little bit safer option than automatics. I don't know why. It just seems like you're a little bit more in tune with what's going on, but that's actually really, really nice. There's adequate storage in here, but nothing too much. So if you're looking for something with more storage, my wife previously had a Honda Civic, or not Honda Civic, a Honda CRV 2017, and there was crazy room in that thing. There was so much room in the center console and the whole entire center area. So coming to this, granted she has this Ascent now, it was a little bit taken used to, but the interior, it's a nice place, nice comfortable place to come with. There is no sunroof option unless you get the limited trim, so that's a little bit of a downer, but I don't really care about that right now. Doors open really wide. You have these anchors here, which is something you only usually see on luxury cars. That's a safety feature. So you have that. Doors open really wide. We rarely use the back seat, but you can fit a large, that is a very large car seat that you can fit in there pretty easily. So that's, if you have a small family and you're okay with the cost of the car, this would work. We could still make this manage. If I still wanted to drive this and keep it, we could, but I want to save as much money as possible. We want a new house, and there's no point in keeping this when we can sell it for almost what we paid for it and get a Forester. I can get a touring Forester, and its payment's gonna be $150 less a month. Same financing at 1.9%. We could do 0% if we wanted to drop it down some, but we pay our cars off early anyway, so we're just gonna do a 1.9. So $150 less a month is a huge chunk of savings. Probably $75 in gas a month also. Another plus, this is a unique sounding car. I honestly do not know very many cars that sound like this. It just has that rumble because it has unlinked headers. So you do have that. Stock exhausts, supposedly I've read that they sound better when you put a different exhaust on them, but nothing too there. The wing, I like the wing. I could see how some people would not care for it, but I actually like it. Looks nice. So plenty of room for a car seat. It's probably not the smartest car for a child to be in because it bumps around a lot. Our 1-year-old sleeps great in it. I think that's mainly because of the car seat. This is a pretty comfortable car seat, but there's way more logical choices than this for a baby. So if you're getting ready to have a family, originally I thought that I would recommend this car, but I would not. If you're having a family, don't get this car. Save up some money and get anything else. You could make it work, but it's not the smartest choice, I don't think. Plenty of front room there. That's usually my wife rarely sits in this car. We rarely have it to where we always drive the Ascent just because it's cheaper. Even though it has a turbocharged 4-cylinder, it takes regular fuel, so 87 octane, so it's just cheaper overall. So give you a shot at the engine. This is another reason why I actually like this car, even though most people may not, is that it's a fairly older engine. So they've probably worked out all the kinks by now, I would hope so. 2.5 liter. Supposedly it has different pistons in it, the 2018s and up, because they had that lawsuit that they actually had to pay some money for the piston, the Ringland issue. So supposedly it has the same pistons as the Honda, or the Type RA. But if you keep it stock, it's going to last. But it's an old engine design, port injection, 210 horsepower or 310 horsepower, around the same torque. It's fast. It's not crazy fast. I had a Mustang Cobra, I believe it was in 1998, that felt way faster from first, second to third. But this is a different type of fast. You're not doing straight line type fast with this type of car. So that's it. I like the motor. I think it looks good. I like the intercooler on the top, even though logically you should probably put it in the front because that's probably the hottest spot in the car. If you put it in the front, it'd be a little cooler, but I like the way it looks. So you have functional hood scoop, which I don't know very many other cars that actually do have that functional hood scoop, but you do have that. Maintenance. So the oil filter is a little bit of a pain to get to. It's buried way down there, and you actually have to take, I don't know if I'll be able to get a shot of this, but there's basically a plate under there, like a little plastic kind of protection underbody that you have to take off, and there's a bunch of different screws and clips you have to do to just change the oil in it, which is kind of a pain if you want to do it yourself. The WRX, the regular one, has the oil filter right here on top, which is a nice feature, but It's not too bad once you get used to it. I haven't had good luck with Subaru in our area, doing very well with changing the oil, so we'll see how that goes. So this is going to be it. This is a wrap up. So those are all the things you're going to want to consider before buying this car. I've had a great time with it over the past 6 months. I'm going to be sad to see it go because it really is fun to drive. But it's not the smartest choice, not for a new family. We both have very good, stable jobs. We make decent money. We can afford this car. We can afford much more than this car, but it just doesn't make sense. I would rather get a little bit bigger house for when we have a second child, or save up and put more down. And I'd rather get more lenses for my camera because I really enjoy using it a little bit more than this car, just for photo and video stuff. So that's it. This is the last video of this car. I'm going to do a mile, miles per gallon I'm getting on it, just so people have an idea about that, because I think I drive this how a normal person would on a day-to-day basis. But that's it. This will be gone next week. So Forester finally came in. We ended up going with a limited model. They have a touring also. I may flip because I like the brown leather interior, but we went the limited because it's cheaper. And there's not really much difference between the limited and the touring unless you get that brown leather. So that's it. Comments, questions, leave them below. Thanks everyone for watching this video. This is it. So do your research before you buy this car, especially if you have a new family and they have other priorities in line. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of the day, weekend, whatever it is. Be safe out there, and I'll see you guys next time.